Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei was killed by the factions and becomes the legendary hero special movie. Before we start, please go support DekuNight in the Black for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Issei is a male in this story. Chapter 0. An 8-year-old boy is walking at night along the dark street of Kou alone. The reason is that his parents forgot his birthday. While the boy was walking, some renegade demon saw him as an easy Persian. When the boy arrived at the park, he sat down on a bench and started crying, saying, Why did they forget about me?" the boy said while he cried. "Child, why are you crying?" he said a voice. "Huh?" the boy said when he tried to look where the voice was coming from. "You're alone, right?" said another voice. When the boy looked closely, he could see two figures in hoods heading towards the child, "We will take you where there are children like you and who are happy," said the hooded prime. "Yes, and besides, he will never be alone again," said the second hooded man. When the boy heard that, he had a bad feeling, so he got up from the boat and just did the first thing that came to his mind and ran. But at that moment one of the hooded men appeared in front of him. "Where you think you're going? We just want to take you to a very fun place, isn't it, Screepy?" he said. "It's the second hooded one." "Yes brother Neck," said Screepy. "Please let me go," said the boy. "You don't understand, boy, there's no escape," said Screepy. "I don't think the same," said a voice. "Who is there?" said Nex. An elderly man in homeless clothing appears from the shadows. "What does he want, old man?" said Screepy. "Let go of the child or else," the old man said. "Or else you're going to give him a sermon, you old geezer," said Nex while he and his brother laughed. The boy looked at the old man for a moment, and when he looked at him he was next to the old man. Screepy and Nex realized that the boy was with the old man. They were surprised. "But what the buck," said Screepy. "I heard monsters, if they leave now I will let them live," said the old man. "Don't give me that shit," Nex said to attack the old man. "Child, stay here," said the old man to the boy who only longed. In a quick movement he stood in front of the Nex and put his hand in front of the caster, an attack that made him whole, leaving only dust. Screepy looked at what happened to his brother and just said, "Damn, you killed my brother, I'll kill you," said Screepy and then transformed into a type of lizard. The boy looked at the monster, he wanted to run away, but he looked at the old man who was calm and saw that he said something. "Prodigious sword," said the old man, when a magic circle appeared from the ground with a sword coming out. "Think that because he has a sword you are going to?" Before Creepy could finish, the old man had already cut him into several pieces. The boy was surprised to see this and decided to talk to the old man. "Lord, thank you for saving me," said the boy. "No problem, child, but we better get on with it, troublesome people come," said the old man. Thus, in a white magic circle, both disappear and a moment later another crimson color appears. Out of the city appearing the boy and the old man. "I'm sorry kid for bringing you here, but I couldn't let them see me, and by the way, what's your name?" said the old man. "My name is Hyodo Issei, sir," Issei said. "It was nice to meet you, Issei. My name is no better, before that I show you my true appearance," said the old man, so that he can get away from Issei a little, change his clothes and appearance. "My name is Otsuki Neox, the legendary mage warrior," Neox said. "He is a GD," Issei said. "No, and that he is a GD?" Neox said, confused. "It doesn't matter, I'm sorry," Issei said, a little embarrassed. "Well, I already introduced myself, I can ask you a question," Neox said. "Yes, which one?" did Issei say. "Why was he in the park at night?" He said. "He doesn't look like an orphan," Neox said. Issei lowers his head and says, "My parents forgot about me," Issei said. "How did they forget about you?" Neox said, confused. "Well, you see, I have an adorable sister. Her name is Megumi. If I know the reference, I'm glad I had a sister my age to play with, but when we turned 6 things changed. Megumi was something called Torigio or something like that," said Issei. "He is a prodigy, a type of genius, but that doesn't explain what he was doing in the park at night," Neox said. "Well, as you said, my sister is a genius. When my parents, teachers and other people I don't know offered her a scholarship to study at a genius school, my parents rarely paid attention. That bothered me, but I don't hate them, nor do I hate my sister. But when he talked to a girl my age, my sister always calls me or calls her, and then that girl doesn't want to talk to me, I don't know why," Issei said. "If this child wasn't 8 years old, he would hit him for being absent-minded," Neox thought. "But well, the point is that today was my birthday, but my parents took my sister all weekend to the beach and left me with a babysitter, but they didn't even say happy birthday to me, they forgot about me," Issei said, while his eyes looked at tears form. "I see, and what happened to your babysitter? Isn't she looking for you?" Neox said. "I don't believe it, the last time I saw her she was watching television until 2 men arrived and she gave each of them a kiss and they went to my parents' room and she was shouting louder among other things that I didn't understand then. Some dolls of my sister and I went out despite why I had forgotten about myself and well, then those 2 monsters appear and I think you know the rest," said Issei. "I understand," Neox said, thinking about how this boy's parents left him aside and an irresponsible babysitter. After a moment of silence Neok spoke. "Boy, I have a proposition to make you, but first let's go to your house, okay?" Neok said. "Okay," Issei said. After that Issei grabbed Neok's hand and they disappeared in a magic circle, arriving at Issei's room. "But since she knows where I live, I didn't say," Issei said. "She was in her room." "First I'll check if your babysitter is in your parents' bed," Neok said. Neok left the room, he went to one of them, but it was Issei's sister, he went to the other, and there was the nanny, she will sleep with two guys next to her, one on each side. After that Neok returned to Issei to tell him something. "Well kid, or do you want me to call you Issei?" said Neok. "I prefer Issei," Issei said. "How did I know where it is? Because I saw your memory, and before I asked you if I could see your memory, why I asked you about you is because I wanted to know if you were telling the truth or lying," Neok said. "I see," Issei said. "Before I make you my proposal, I will tell you about the factions, so listen carefully," Neok said. "Yes," Issei said. So Neok told him about the war, the factions, the death of the biblical god and the Santons and the celestial dragons. "Incredible," said Issei, surprised. "In that damn war, many of my friends died, but I'm done," said Neok, a little sad. "I'm sorry," Issei said. "Why, if you had nothing to do with it," Neok said. "For the death of his friends," Issei said. "Well, don't worry now, my proposal is if you want to be my success," Neok said. "What? Issei said, surprised. "Listen, I have lived more than thousands of years and traveled through many dimensions looking for an event, and I see a lot of potential in you," Neok said. "But are you sure there may be someone better?" Issei said. "Yes, I'm sure what it says," Neok said. "Okay, but I'm going to become a hero," Issei said. "It's fine with me," Neok said. "Okay, when we started," Issei said. "When are your parents and sister coming back?" Neok said. "In 2 days, why?" Issei said. "Well, at that moment I will come pick you up for training, you understand," Neok said. "What training?" Issei said. "I didn't think I would give you my power without training you first, right?" Neok said. "Oh," Issei said embarrassedly. "Listen, we will go for a long time, maybe 6 or 7 years, so that you can master my power and become even stronger, that's why I ask you again, are you sure?" Neok said. "Yes, I'm sure," Issei said. "Well, we'll see you in 2 days," Neok said. "Yes, goodbye sensei," Issei said. "By the way, here," Neok said. Issei looked at what he threw at him and said. "That's what Issei said. It's a gift, today is your birthday, right?" Neok said. Issei saw the gift and was going to say thank you, but Neok disappeared. Out of the city, Neok was thinking sensei how well he smiled. 2 days later Neok appeared at the Hyodo residence, telling them that his son was chosen to travel to Europe to study European history and other subjects. Issei's parents did not agree very much, but when they saw some papers that were true, Issei said goodbye to her parents and sister. She was not very happy about Issei leaving. After saying goodbye, Issei and Neok will begin training that will make Issei a hero that all factions will talk about. Half chapter. Hello, why did you say half an easy chapter? This chapter you decide who will be Issei's sister. First 1, second 2, third 3, fourth 4. You choose which girl will be Issei's sister. Facts about Megumi. Age 16 currently. Name Megumi. Last name Hyodo adopted. Things you like and dislike. She likes grandinaria, cakes and sweets. She likes dresses and other girly things. She hates those who are presumptuous and poorly behaved with women. She is in love with Issei, and she doesn't like that any girl cell does that, and she is also the new security. Personality. Her personality is happy and lively when there are people she doesn't know, polite and shy when she is with people she trusts. Well, I'm done with Megumi now. I will explain to you what happened to Issei when she left. Well, when she returned to Japan, she is 15 years old here. She explained to you what she did at that time. It's 7 years, so let's start. First 2 years Issei trained her stamina, speed and strength. Third year Issei was trained in superviracy, and Neok also trained him in strategy and sword. In the fourth year Issei was written to a school called elementary. This is elementary. By the way, Issei is 12 years old. During the time he had in elementary, Issei did not make many friends because he did not want to stand out, but for his bad luck, he had a fight with a girl who said she would take revenge, but everything bad has its good side, that's why he also met a girl who became her friend. Neok and Issei's relationship was teacher and student, but it seemed like grandfather and grandson. Whenever Issei didn't understand something he explained again. They also talked about school and other personal things. Neok, one of the many chalas he had with Issei, told him his story about his past with the hero clan, what his youth was like, and when he and his friends went to fight in the war, he was also the only one who survived, and when he returned, his villa discovered that it was destroyed by renegade demons who had killed everyone, and in fury he had used cursed magic to eliminate everyone, but became immortal when using it. After that Issei wanted to ask him more, but Neok said that they should continue his training. When Issei turned 15 he had already finished school a few weeks before the others and had to return to Japan. But 2 days before Neox had one last training session. Well, Issei, listen, he's already 15 years old, I think he's ready for the next level, Neox said. But I thought he was already finished, Issei said surprised. Issei already has good stamina and fairly high speed, but you still lack combat skills, Neox said. But we don't have time, Issei said upset. You're wrong about that, my apprentice, Neox said to open a portal. What's that? Issei said. It's a portal, first enter and then I'll explain to you, Neox said. Issei enters the portal, and then Neox enters when Issei enters to see that there is nothing. What is this place? Issei said. The void dimension, said Neox. Vacuum dimension. Issei said. Confused. That's how it is in this dimension, a year is an hour outside of this, Neox said. Wow, why not use it before? Issei said confused. Why can it only be used once and you weren't ready? Neox said. I see and ready for what Issei said. To receive this, Neox said to take out a kind of colored diamond. With this he will have the powers of the elemental dragons, Neox added. What is that? Issei said. With this he will transform you into a dragon slayer, said Neox. A dragon slayer? Issei said. That's right, with this he will have the strength and resistance of a dragon, Neox said. But as Issei said, surprised. First take the diamond in your hand and that's it, said Neox. Issei did as Neox said, and when he pleased the diamond a reaper light appeared and the diamond disappeared. Well, Issei already has the powers of the elemental dragons, Neox said. And how do I use them? Issei said. They will teach you, Neox said. And in front of Issei some dragons appeared. I'm not going to name them because I don't want to. In Issei's mind, I'm dead, he said while Neox told the elemental dragons not to have it easy while he drank a beer. Time jump. 12 years later in the void dimension we see a boy on unconscious dragons. I see you're done, Neox said. Yes, but they were difficult to beat, said Issei. Yes, well, it's time to say goodbye, Neox said as the elemental dragons get up and fade away. Goodbye and thank you for everything, Issei said as he waved. The elemental dragons just nodded. Well, I think it's time, Neox said. After he said that Issei looked at him. Listen Issei, now I will give you all my power, my techniques, my knowledge and so on, but when we leave this dimension, I will only have a few minutes, and then I will disappear, Neox said. Hearing that Issei became sad, but Neox continued talking. But brat, don't be sad, now I'll give you my power and we'll be here for another 12 years, I'm not leaving yet, Neox said. After that Neox gave him all his power and technique sect to Issei and that he taught them to master them perfectly. After they spent another 12 years leaving the void dimension after they came out their stomachs growled for food. So I forgot, when you leave the void dimension you die outright, Neox said. I'll order food, Issei said. Thus asking for food for an army after eating Neox spoke. Okay boy, it's time to go, Neox said. Issei knew this was going to happen, but he still shed some tears. I miss you a lot, said Issei, shedding some tears. Come on, men don't cry, Neox said as some tears formed. Look who's saying it, said Issei, pointing to Neox. Listen, child, if you want, you can form your own entourage or clan or whatever you want, call it, you have the power to do so, but don't let it go to your head, you understand, Neox said. Maybe I like it, Issei said with a smile. One more thing, if one day you want to have a harem, do it with women who really love you, not those who want to use you, Neox said. I will remember it, teacher, Issei said, lowering his head. One more thing, I left you in an account, all my money has your name on it, so you can spend it on whatever you want, Neox said. Thank you very much, Issei said. Well now goodbye son, said Neox to disappear. Goodbye, grandpa, Issei said. After that Issei left a letter to her, two of her friends, a good friend of hers and a rival of hers, her mind, and went to the airport to head to Japan. Chapter 1. Before starting, Issei's sister is number 3, I couldn't find the image, I'm sorry for that, but look at the previous chapters, there is and will be a harem by popular vote, and what they voted for Issei to have only one, don't worry, I'm going to make a story. With Issei and a girl now let's start. The first year that Issei and Megumi joined Kuo, Megumi quickly became the most popular first-year girl in school after Ria's Gremory and second-year Akeno Hajime. Because of her intelligence and beauty, all the guys wanted to ask her out on a date and she always rejects them all. Meanwhile, Issei, some girl wanted to talk to him, but a rumor spread that he was a pervert and it was confirmed when he, Motohama and Mitsuda wanted to spy on the girl's dressing room. When that happened, all the women worried about Megumi because she had a perverted brother. Megumi clarified that she did not have to worry that Issei would not do anything to her because he saw her as her sister and if you tried something with her she would hit him, that calmed some of the girls. Megumi knew that Issei was not a pervert since she invented the rumor because no one will take away what is hers and her brother is his and no one else's. Well that same year Issei, as he had the role of pervert, the girls wouldn't bother him, that bothered him a little, but it also benefited him since he had two friends, he could go to places that if he went alone, people or someone else might suspect him, of course he knew it was wrong. But not only did he do it for that reason, he also did it because he wanted to have fun with his two friends. After a year he realized that in Kou there were at least 2 clans of demons, fallen angels and some angels. Of course he hid his presence so as not to be detected by any of them, because he surely wanted me to join, and Issei doesn't want that even well now present tense note. I'm watching Deadpool as I write this. Present time. We find him at Kou Academy with a Hyodo Issei under a tree with his 2 best friends, chatting about some things. Hey Issei, do you know if your sister is free on Sunday? Mitsuda said excitedly. Hey, I was going to ask you first, Motohama said angrily. I don't know, and even if I ask her, I'm sure she'll reject them like all the boys at school, Issei said while he was lying on the side of the tree. Wait, how did I know we were going to ask him out on a date? Motohama said. It was obvious, everyone in school wants to date one of, according to you, the 3 goddesses of Kou, Issei said with annoyance. Come on, don't be angry, Mitsuda said. Mitsuda is right, old man, your sister is really beautiful and well built, Motohama said as he drooled imagining Megumi in her underwear. After that, Issei hit him on the head to stop him from imagining perverted things about his sister. Aw, that hurt me, Motohama said while he rubbed his head from the blow that Issei gave him. I passed you through in Magi, but Issei couldn't finish what he was going to say because he felt like someone was looking at him. In a window there was a Redeed watching Issei and then leaving. Hey Issei, the world to Issei, said Mitsuda, passed his hand in front of Issei so that he rationed. Hey guys, can I ask you a question? Issei said. Yes, which one did they both say? Was this house always here? Issei said confused. You just realized the house, said Mitsuda and Motohama, who began to laugh at how clueless their friend was. Issei's thought. Damn, I didn't realize that I was being vigilant, I have to be more careful next time. End of Issei's thoughts. After Issei and his friends left, the Redeed came in and started getting ready to take a bath, but before that she asked his vice president about the brunette. Akeno, do you know who the brunette is? Said the Redeed. His name is Hyodo Issei, Hyodo's brother Megumi. Why are you asking, Rias? Akeno said. Not for nothing did it seem to me that he was hiding something, said Rias. He wants us to Virgil him, Akeno said. For now we won't send anyone, by the way, send Kiba to call the Hyodo girl Megumi to come, said Rias. Yes, after the class ends, I'll sell it, Akeno said with a smile. I see, well, I'm going to take a bath, said Rias to finish undressing, and I went to take a bath. Out of the school, Issei was brought home alone because his sister said she would stay for some business that she didn't tell him she would go to after she told her parents. After Issei arrives dry from a bridge, a girl appears and tells him, hello, my name is Yuma Amano, I have seen you, you come by here every day, and I ask if you would go on a date with me, Yuma said nervously. Yes, of course, Issei said calmly. Seriously, thank you very much, we will see you on Sunday at 3 p.m. next to the fountain, okay, said Yuma, very happy. Well then, until Sunday, Issei said with a smile. See you Sunday, Hyodo, Issei said Yuma. You can call me Issei if you want, Issei said with another smile. Okay, Issei said Yuma shyly. After they separated, the thoughts of the two were districts, but Yuma thoughts. But what an idiot, how can you believe that I or anyone would be interested in someone they don't know? But it doesn't matter when I killed him, it will be fun to see the shock on her face when she discovers that everything was a hoax. Out of the thoughts Yuma, the haha Yuma laughed, but Issei thoughts. Scary, it seems like someone is moving the pieces to kill me. I think it's time to formally introduce myself to the factions, but before that I need a costume and a name, and I only have 3 days. It's complicated. Episode 2. After meeting the girl named Yuma, Issei headed home where his parents were waiting for him. I'm here, Issei said as he took off his shoes. Hello, Issei and Megumi, said Issei's mother. At school she had some pending business, she said that she would come a little later, she will let them know, Issei said. I understand, said Mrs. Hyodo. After that Issei left the room to rest. In Issei's room. Wow, as always, he didn't ask me about my day, but it doesn't matter, I have things to do, Issei said as he gets ready to play with his plays 4. A few hours later, the Hyodo family were sitting at dinner talking until Megumi and Issei's mother asked a question. Megumi, what business did you have at your school? Said Mrs. Hyodo. Well, you see, I joined a club, Megumi said, happily. Seriously, and which one did you say, Mr. Hyodo? The occult research club, Megumi said happily. Issei, who was listening, almost choked on his food when he heard what Megumi said. Brother, are you okay? Megumi said worriedly. If I'm fine, I'll just choke on my food, Issei said a little nervously. I see, said Megumi. After dinner in Issei's room, Issei's thoughts. Shit, how could I be so ignorant? I knew that Megumi had a sacred greer, of course I didn't know which one and I wasn't going to tell her. I'm still waiting for the right moment to get a piece to form my entourage, but who would I ask? This is such an Ajuka, I will ask her for a piece later, maybe she will help me, but Megumi is now in the demon's retinue, if you told her about me and my abilities, maybe she wouldn't join in, or maybe she would. She said Almira Ria's Gremory like the other girls as if she were an idol or something like that, I don't know why, but I don't have that much confidence in a silver platter girl. Out of Issei's thoughts. I should stop thinking about that and go to sleep, Issei told himself. Note we go to the day of the appointment until the part where Rainer tries to kill Issei. Everything happens like the canon. When Issei and Yuma arrived at the fountain, Yuma stood behind and said something in Issei's ear. Issei, can I ask you a question? Yuma said. Yes, of course, Issei said with a smile, but if he lets his guard down. He could die for me, Yuma said in Issei's ear. Issei, upon hearing that she would know that she would attack, and prepares. After those words, Yuma transformed into a taller girl with little clothing. When Issei saw her, she thought millimeters not bad. I formally introduce myself. I am Rainer and you are dead, said Rainer, throwing a spear of light at him. Issei catches the spear of light with one hand and destroys it, leaving Rainer shocked. What, that's impossible, said Rainer, looking grey and a little nervous and scared at the same time. Nothing is impossible for a hero, said Issei, and then changed his clothes to something like this. Rainer looked at him and said, what the hell are those clothes? The thoughts. I should have chosen the Toby, it was better, were Issei's thoughts. End of thoughts. That doesn't matter, I have questions and I want answers, Issei said with a thick voice. Rainer after Rachiona and listened to what Issei said. She says, why do you think I'm going to answer your questions? Rainer said as she prepared another spear of light and threw it towards Issei. Issei, let's see that. She dodged the spear and says, then it will be the hard way. Then Issei raises her power so that all the mouths feel it. Underworld. This power is said. Darling, brother said. Yes, I know, I feel it too. This power could be that man's, he said. Kou City somewhere. Haha, so you're back in action, old geezer said. With Rainer and Issei. Rainer was terrified. That boy she thought was a loser turned out to be a monster with enormous power. She had to run away, but the fear wouldn't let her. Well, I think it's time to finish this, Issei said as she walked to Rainer. Rainer, upon hearing that, stepped back until she fell into the fountain. Well, see, you never fire dragon techniques. Infernal fist before Issei will finish the technique. Two magic circles appearing on the ground, one crimson red and the other navy blue. Rainer told that Issei was distracted and used a magic circle to escape. When Issei realized that the fallen angel escaped, she did not give it much importance, and that the magic circles of her showed a Redeed and her entourage, and the other a black-haired man with glasses with another girl with long hair and also had glasses. Issei's thoughts. Shit, today is going to be a very bad day for someone. Chapter 3. When Issei was about to finish off a fallen angel, people appeared that she was not interested in seeing and also let her prey escape. Rhea saw a guy with a strange outfit and asked him, "Hey, who are you and what are you doing in demon territory?" Rhea said with an authoritative voice. Issei saw the Redeed and her entourage and saw that Megumi was also with them and felt demonic power from her. Issei's thoughts. So you joined the Megumi demons. Out of Issei's thoughts. Issei went to the fountain and sat down to wait for the Mayu until Rhea spoke again. "Hey, I'm talking to you," Rhea said with a little anger. Issei only ignored her, and that made Rhea's angrier. "Rhea's, let me try," said Sona. But said Rhea's to be interrupted by Akeno. "Leave her, Rhea, so she can make him talk," Akeno said. Sona walked towards Issei to talk to him. "Excuse me, sir, can you tell me who she is and what to do here?" Sona said politely. "Excuse me, miss, but you're not interested," Issei said calmly. Sona was about to be happy when some magic circles appeared on the ground and the three leaders came out. "Finally they arrive," Issei said. Sinziches, Azazel and Michael had arrived at the place where they had felt that power that seemed like that of Neox, but they only found a guy with a magician's suit and a mask, Rhea's and his entourage, and Sona Citri and her queen. "Brother, what are you doing here?" said Rhea's. "I ask you the same thing," said Sinziches, looking at his sister. "I felt enormous power and I came with Sona to investigate," said Rhea's. "You should have warned me," Sinziches said, a little annoyed. "I'm sorry," Rhea said, bowing her head. While Sinziches was arguing with his sister, Azazel went to the Esmascadero and introduced himself. "Hello, I'm Azazel, leader of the fallen angels, and as I see, you're not Neox, right?" Azazel said with his typical smile. "I'm sorry to tell you no, and my name is Millimeters, you can call me Soul for now," Issei said. "I see, well, as I told you, I am Azazel, leader of the fallen angels, to my right is Sinziches, leader of the demons, and to my left is Michael, leader of the angels," Azazel said. "I understand. First of all I will explain to you what happened to Neox and what grow here," said Issei. After Issei explained to him about his teacher and hiding something from him, he also told him that he was the new leader of the hero faction. "I see, but what exactly is he looking for?" "I don't think you came to tell us this, right?" said Sinziches. "Very prepika, well I will get to the point. I want to form a peace alliance with you and also form a territory," said Issei. "Hey, what does he think you are to ask for that?" Rhea said angrily. Rhea said, Sinziches screaming at what her sister said. "Yes, it offends Sinziches, but you should teach your sister manners," Issei said. "I am very sorry for my sister's manners, but you must understand that what you are asking of me is impossible," now Sinziches said. "First, not asking only you but also them," said Issei's soul, pointing to Azazel and Michael. I understand, but we still have things to solve before that, said Surziches. That's true, but well, I have to leave now, so we'll see it, said Issei. Before I go, can I ask you a question? Azazel said. Which? Issei said. Why that costume? I mean, you could have chosen a better one, right? Azazel said. When I go to buy a costume, I never bother the seller, especially if she is a woman with a great cleavage, said Issei, and then disappeared. Haha, I'll keep that in mind, haha, said Azazel as he continued laughing. After that, Issei headed towards a place in the underworld. Beelzebub Castle. We find them in the living room where Ajuka Beelzebub was sitting on the couch reading a book until a white magic circle appears from the floor and a half-injured masked man emerges. Hello, this is the Resirance Beelzebub, said Issei that he is half-tired, sighing. If I am Ajuka Beelzebub, what do you need? Asked Ajuka said. Finally, I went through 2 castles before getting here and I almost died. First one who was dressed as a magical girl, and then another who was dressed as a girl from Poke Girls with brown hair. I don't remember the name, Issei said. Note. The Poke Girls that Issei says is May and second, I don't know what, and I'm to watch DXD, so don't kill me. Seriously? Ajuka said, confused. That and why they were getting dressed in their rooms, Issei said. Haha, I see, said Ajuka while laughing. Well, first let me introduce myself, my real name and my appearance, said Issei to change into the clothes he had with Yuma. Ajuka saw him and noticed that he was almost the same age as Ria's Gremory, the sister of his friend and rival. My name is Hyodo Issei, and I will tell you my reason for coming here, Issei said. Later, let's see if I understand. Your teacher Oldsuki Neox, the legendary magician warrior, the one who was respected by all supernatural beings, trained you and also gave you his powers, Ajuka said, upset. Yes, Issei said. Besides, you want to like a set of chess pieces, said Ajuka, even more upset. Yes, Issei said. Well, why didn't Ajuka say with a smile? Seriously, Issei said. Of course, first, a ball of energy the size of a basketball, Ajuka said. Issei did what Ajuka said and made the energy ball. Okay, now give it to me and wait here, said Ajuka. 3 hours later. Well, Issei, here are your hero pieces, Ajuka said excitedly. Hero parts? Issei said, confused. That's right, listen, this piece is special, I'm going to explain it to you, so listen, Ajuka said. Issei only attended. First, each of your pawns is worth 8 pawns. Second, your piece does not need promotion, it can have up to queen level, depending on the stronger your servant becomes, but only with training. And third, you can turn any living being into your servant, even a dragon or god, Ajuka said. Issei was surprised and thanked for everything. Well, I've finished explaining to you, so here, Ajuka said, giving Issei a gold and white box. Thank you, by the way, you can keep the secret of my identity for now, I don't want them to know who I am yet, said Issei. No problem, soul, said Ajuka. Issei just nodded. For something else, I'll give you some advice, Ajuka said. Hey? Issei said. I recommend that you look for a familiar in the Forest of Familiars, it will be very helpful to you, Ajuka said. Thanks for the advice, well, I'll say goodbye, Issei said to disappear in a magic circle. Hyodo Issei, things are going to get very fun thanks to you, Ajuka said to please the book and his company to Lee again. Chapter 4. After talking to Ajuka and getting his pieces, Issei went to his house, but not before putting the king piece on him. Wow, today was a very exhausting day, a fallen angel escaped me, Megumi is the maid of the Gremory, I think the factions are going to mobilize, and I have to look for another outfit, Issei said while sighing. But hey, at least I have my chess pieces, I just hope to get home, take a bath and go to sleep, Issei said inwardly. Hyodo house. When Issei entered, the first thing he did was go to the living room, but he didn't find anyone, then to the kitchen where he found a note. Issei. Son, we went to a surprise dinner for Megumi, so you can order a pizza or something to eat, whatever you want, just remember that you have to pay for it yourself, and don't take a girl well with your reputation, I don't think you will get any. Sign your parents. P.S. Wash the dishes before going to sleep. When he finished reading the letter, he looked at the sink and there was a mountain of dishes. Why are there so many dirty dishes? Issei said angrily. Later, Issei finished washing the dishes and was about to order food, but until he remembered that he spent all his cash on the costume and the date. Shit, tomorrow I'll get money from an ATM, said Issei, to go take a bath. A bath later, when Issei was about to enter his room until he found a note that said, Brother, as you know, I went to a dinner with our father, and if they ask you why there are so many dishes to wash, it's because the members of the hidden club came to eat with some guests. By the way, before I forget, Ria-senpai wants to talk to you. Tomorrow at the club we'll see you, little brother. With love, Megumi. Issei, after reading the letter, says in his mind. Issei's thoughts. Damn, surely Rias wants me to join, so he came to look for information and check my house to keep an eye on me, but who were the other people, Michael or Azazel? No, it didn't create Syria, it's very strange that he comes to look for me, and I don't think Sinziches will come either. Millimeters, I don't know, it doesn't happen to me, but it doesn't matter, it can't get any worse. Out of Issei's thoughts. When Issei finishes reading the letter, enter his room to go to bed and say, "Tomorrow is going to be a very long day," Issei said to close his eyes and sleep. Issei's dream. Issei was in a blank space lying on the floor until he said, "Where am I?" Issei said, looking everywhere. This place looks like the void dimension," Issei said to himself. "I don't know, it seems like the dimension of the void," said a voice. "That voice, Master Neox," Issei said surprised. "Hey kid, how are you?" Neox said. "Master, I thought you were dead," Issei said. "I'm sorry, boy, what you're seeing is just a part of me that I left behind to help you in the future," Neox said. "Oh I see," Issei said sadly. "Come on, that's how long you see me and you get sad," Neox said sarcastically. "I'm sorry, I thought you would come back, you know," Issei said sadly. "Come on, you know that I left in peace and you are also doing well, defeating a fallen angel alone, you defeated the mage and made yourself respected, and you have your chess pieces, I wouldn't be more proud of you," Neox said. "Thank you," Issei said. "But why the buck choose such a bad costume?" Neox said. "It'll bother me for that, right?" Issei said with an annoyed face. "Yes I would but I don't have time, but I'd better tell you why I'm here," said Neox. "What are you doing here?" Issei said. "To begin with, you are now sleeping, and the other thing is that I came to give you the other half of my knowledge," Neox said seriously. "Wait, I thought you gave me all your power, techniques and knowledge, etc." Issei said. "Yes, I gave you my knowledge, but not everything, and you can improve my techniques," Neox said. "And what knowledge will you give me?" Issei said. "The knowledge of manufacturing weapons, objects and suits," said Neox. "Seriously cool," Issei said. "Well, here it goes," Neox said, and then said a magic word and touched Issei's forehead. Issei felt like a burst of information came into his mind. After that Issei Quiro was half stunned by the burst of information. "Wow, I feel like I got on the roller coaster," said Issei, pleasing his head. "Well that's all," Neox said. "You're leaving again," Issei said a little sadly. "Brat, I'm already dead so don't worry," Neox said with a smile. "True," Issei said, laughing, a little sad. "So before I go, I'll tell you something. With the knowledge I just gave you, you can create any existing or non-existent weapon, as long as you have the right materials," Neox said. "Yes, I will take it into account," said Issei. "Well now you better wake up," said Neox to disappear. "Ha, goodbye again old man," Issei said with a sad smile. "Goodbye booger no goodbye Hyodo Issei the legendary hero," Neox said with a smile. Out of Issei's dream, Issei wakes up and realizes that it is 7 a.m. "Old man, you feel prouder than ever, I swear," Issei said. "Issei, get up to go to school," said Issei's mother. "But first school," said Issei to go take a bath. Chapter 5. After a quick bath and wearing his school clothes, Issei headed towards an ATM to withdraw some money. When he got enough money to buy an apartment, he put it in a pocket dimension and left, heading to school, but a limousine pulled up in front of him, where a person dressed in a bodyguard suit got out. "You're Hyodo," Issei said. "Prime bodyguard." "Yes, I am," Issei said seriously. "My boss wants to talk to you, you can get in the limo," said the first bodyguard. "If he denies me, what will happen?" Issei said with a small smile. "We would have to insist by force," said the second bodyguard who stood behind Issei. Issei took one step forward to stand in the middle of the two subjects and said, "Ooh, I see, then come on," Issei said sarcastically. When the two subjects were going to attack Issei, someone spoke. "Hey, calm down, guys, don't get violent with my partner," said a man who got out of the limo. "Boss," said the two bodyguards in unison. "Who are you?" Issei said, looking at the guy in front of him. "But a year passed and you forgot about the person who saved your life," the man said. "Wait, you are?" Issei said. "At Kou High School." At the entrance was a half-annoyed Megumi waiting for her brother to come and talk to the certain matter. Megumi's thoughts. "Where is my brother Var? He's going to be late and I also want to talk to him about that date he had with that fallen angel. I don't understand why he went on that date," he said. "I couldn't ask me on a date," he said. "We're not blood brothers, plus I'm one of the prettiest girls in high school, plus Ria's senpai and Akeno senpai. Plus when I find that fallen angel I'm going to tear her to pieces." End of Megumi's thoughts. "Hey Megumi, what are you doing? Let's go, classes are going to start," said one of her classmates. "Yes, I'm coming," Megumi said, gladly heading inside and thinking where her brother is. Well with Issei. Issei was in a limo with the man he spoke to a few minutes ago. "I can't believe how much they changed you, Zach," said Issei as he took a toy. "Haha, well changing some things thanks to you," said Zach. "That's what it seems," Issei said to start remembering. Flashback. Issei was walking through the territory of the demons when out of nowhere a man came out of a door and I fell to the floor with a briefcase. "You'll see my idea for the future will be the best of this time," said Zach. "Yes of course, and the Avenger or SHIELD would come to you lost help, hahaha," said a man while laughing. "Hey, you're okay," Issei said, helping Zach. "Yes, thank you," Zach said. "By the way, why was that guy laughing?" Issei said confused. "It's a long story," Zach said. "I have time," Issei said with a smile. "Well, if you invite me to eat, I'll tell you," Zach said. "Okay," Issei said. Time later at a fast food place. After eating a couple of hamburgers, Issei and Zach company talk. First let me formally introduce myself. My name is Remission Zach, or for friends just Zach, said Zach. I am Hyodo Issei to my friends, Issei said Issei. Nice to meet you, Issei, said Zach. The pleasure is mine, Zach said Issei. Well, I'll tell you what happened. I'm a doctor, I want to create a formula to heal any wound, and also some artificial organs, Zach said with emotion. Artificial organ? Issei said confused. If you look, you saw the movie, The Vincentennial Man, said Zach. Yes, more or less, said Issei. Well, I want to create something similar to that movie, just imagine how many lives can be saved, said Zach. Yes, I understand, but why did that man kick you out and laugh at you, said Issei. Well, when I told him my goal and that I also need some money, he called me crazy and what to listen to you, said, Zach said sadly. Seriously, how much do you need, Issei said very calmly. Da doesn't want to know, Zach said. Tell me, maybe I can help you, said Issei. Da, like $20 million, Zach said sarcastically. Pass your check, Issei said with a smile. Hey? Zach said in a state of confusion. Minutes later. Wait, you're telling me you're giving me 20 million, Zach said in shock. No, actually, it's 30 million, Issei said, giving Zach a briefcase. After a few minutes of silence, Zach spoke. You're high, Zach said. Issei didn't say. You're crazy, Zach said. No, Issei said. You're an alien transvestite who wants to do perverted things with me, Zach said, terrifying. Of course not, what a perverse imagination you have, said Issei. I'm sorry, I don't understand why you give me this money if you barely know me, Zach said. To be honest, I still have more money. What happens is that I can't use it yet, so I give a part to you. If you use it for better or worse, it's your problem, we see, Issei said to leave. One day I will return it to you, I promise, Zach said to also leave. End of flashback. Yes, but I don't understand why he says to save your life, Issei said. I'll tell you that in his time, but first, take this, it's a check for 10 times what you lent me, Zach said. Hey, it's not necessary, and where would I put so much money, Issei said jokingly. I don't know, that's not my problem, Zach said to start laughing. After a while Issei and Zach arrived at the Kou school. Well, here I get off, said Issei. Let's have something else, Zach said to hand him a phone. One phone? Issei said. That phone is the Galaxy SX7, the latest and the best. It also has my number. When you need me, call me. I will help you as much as I can. Okay, Zach said. Okay and thank you, Issei said as Zach left. Shit, I was late, said Issei, to run into the school. Bolaridid watched him. Chapter 6. When Issei arrives at school he is scolded by the teacher for being late, but after explaining his tardiness, he lets him pass stable. After that classes continued normally until recess when Megumi met Issei. Brother, we have to talk, Megumi said. Well spoken, said Issei calmly. I prefer it to be private, Megumi said with a smile. And I prefer it to be here, Issei said seriously. Okay, said Megumi, a little annoyed, but she hid it so as not to cause a scene in the classroom. Well, what do you want to talk about, Issei said calmly. Yesterday you went out with a girl named Yuma Amano, said Megumi would be. Everyone in the class was shocked by this supernatural thing. The girl is always thinking that Hyodo was a pervert and that no one would notice and that it was just a joke until Issei spoke. Yes and no, Issei said sadly. Megumi was a little upset when she heard that, but she asked. What did you talk about? Megumi said a little annoyed. First, we don't talk, depending on if we were to talk, I don't have to tell you, and third, since you know his name, I don't remember telling him, Issei said seriously. That doesn't matter, I want to know why you went out with her, Megumi said nervously. Like I said, I don't have to tell you anything now, excuse me, I'm going to eat, Issei said to leave the room, leaving an upset Megumi. Issei, come here now, said Megumi shouting very angrily. The students there were surprised by the brothers' discussion and Megumi's scream. And you are watching, said Megumi, annoyed why she is seeing his state of anger. The students who were there just looked away while pretending to do something else. She was angry. First her brother goes out with a girl she doesn't know, then he makes her wait at the school entrance and arrives late. Now she doesn't want to answer her questions. When I go to Ria-senpai I will make her tell me everything, were Megumi's thoughts. On the roof of the school, Issei was sitting eating bento thinking about the argument with Megumi. Issei's thoughts. I think I was a little harsh on Megumi, she said. She's my sister, she cares about me, and maybe the Gremory told her about the fallen angel, and that's why she worried, but I also can't tell her that I'm that guy with a mask called Soul, plus he's a demon ironically. Ha, how funny. I remember when the old man said that an angry woman is like the devil. But well, talking about demons, I have to see Gremory millimeters, he scratched. I don't want to go, and Motohama and Masuda didn't come to school today. What happened? Well, I better finish eating and go to the living room. End of Issei procession. When Issei finished the bento he went to the living room and sat in the cuplight. After classes ended, the school prince Kibayudo headed towards Issei. Since you already know what he's going to say, let's go straight to the club. President Riaz, I already brought Hyodo Issei, said Kiba. Let Issei in. Thank you Kiba, Riaz said calmly. When Issei entered he saw Akeno Hajime, Kaneko Toho, behind Kiba Yudo and Megumi, and in front of him the Retied Riaz Gremory. Why did he send for me to call Riaz senpai? Issei said calmly. Well, I have to ask you some questions, said Riaz Sarah. What would happen if I refused to answer? Issei said with a serious and bullish tone. Brother Riaz senpai and I want an answer now, Megumi said angrily. Megumi, I'm not talking to you so shut up, please answer my question, Miss Gremory, Issei said calmly. Megumi was furious with her brother after what she said to her in the classroom. Now she was talking to him like that in front of her senpai. She couldn't believe it when they were alone. She wanted an answer as to why he acted like that. Akeno, upon hearing how she approached her sister with an aggressive but calm tone, also liked that she heard that he was a pervert, so maybe she was a dominant pervert, and Akeno excited her. Well, don't worry, it's just a personal matter, nothing serious, said Riaz while he tried to calm the atmosphere. Okay, ask, Issei said calmly. Well, remember this, said Riaz, taking a photo where Issei and Yuma were. How strange, I don't remember going out with Yuma, Issei said surprised. Are you sure? Riaz said. Yes, I went to the park for a date with her, but she stood me up, she never came, Issei said angrily. I see, said Riaz, it would be. Well, that's all, I'm leaving, Issei said to leave until Riaz spoke. No, there is still something else I want to talk to you, said Riaz with a smile. Well, about what? Issei said. Well, first I will explain to you about the supernatural world, said Riaz with a smile. After talking to him about the supernatural and that they are demons, I ask him if you want to join. Let me see if I understand, you want me to be your servant for all eternity and to defend you as a soldier faithful to you, Issei said inclemently. Yes, but you can also be promoted to supreme class demons and have a harem if you wish, said Riaz trying to convince the brunette. No thanks, I'm not interested, Issei said to retreat until a sword stood in his way. I'm sorry but I think the president let you leave so easily, Kiba said as he held his back in front of Issei. I ask you again, join my entourage, said Riaz kindly. Come on, brother Riaz senpai, it's great, I assure you that you won't regret it, said Megumi. Seeing it that way millimeters no, Issei said to crouch down and kick Kiba to get his back off and while he was in the air, take it to defend himself. When everyone realized Issei had Kiba's back in his hand and said, well, let's do this by hook or by crook, Issei said as he smiled. Chapter 7. After Issei disarmed Kiba, everyone in the club was shocked. They never thought that a boy who was known for being a pervert disarmed Kiba, also made it look easy. Everyone had different thoughts, but their attention was caught by the brunette who said, okay, and we do this by hook or by crook, Issei said with a smile. Akeno, Kiba, Kaneko and Megumi were ready to fight, but their president stopped them when she said, Equato, I don't want to fight so you can leave, but think about it, you will always be well received as part of my family, said Riaz. Everyone was shocked when they heard that. They never thought that their president would give up so easily. Whatever you want, hey pretty boy, take your sword, see you, Issei said to leave, half annoyed. After Issei left the club, Akeno asked. Riaz, I thought he wanted him to join us, Akeno said confused. I still love him, but I can't force him to join them, said Riaz. I see then what you will do, Akeno said. Megumi, you live with trying to convince him to join the Gremory clan, you can, Riaz said. Of course I will also talk to my parents so they can help me talk about it, said Megumi. Well, I'll give it to you, you can leave, said Riaz with a smile. Yes, Megumi said to leave the place. Kiba, Kaneko, you can also leave for today, Riaz said with a smile. Kiba and Kaneko went to their awake homes, leaving Riaz and Akeno alone. Riaz asks why you love that Hyodo boy so much, maybe you fell in love with him, Akeno said with a mischievous smile. None of that, just that I find it very interesting and that it could help me against Razor's commitment, said Riaz while he hid a small blush. Oh well, if you're not interested, I can keep it, Akeno said with a smile. Akeno, I think you have to go too, Riaz said with anger in her voice. Equato president, we'll see you later or tomorrow, Akeno said to leave. After Akeno left, Riaz said to herself, Hyodo, Issei, you will be mine. While elsewhere in Kou City, Issei after leaving school met Masuda and Motohama who told Issei that they were changing schools, that's why they didn't come today, and that she was coming to say goodbye. After Masuda and Motohama left, Issei went to look for a house or apartment to live in because he still didn't have a territory and his sister would bother him to join the demons. After a while he found a house outside the faction territories that would be perfect to live in. He called the person in the house or mansion because it was huge, but no one answers when he sees a sign that says for sale, so he calls the phone number. In about 20 minutes a man offers to show him the house. In front it was half neglected, but that didn't matter, he showed him the entire house that had 20 rooms, 7 full bathrooms, 30 rooms, a blacksmith shop, furniture and a swimming pool. The only thing it didn't have was electricity and internet, but he would solve that later. After fighting a little, the price was paid for the house, and the papers were instantly signed with a lawyer present, and after the man left, Issei went to his house to look for his things and told his parents that he was leaving home. When he got home, Megumi wanted to talk to him, but Issei went to his room and packed his belongings when his father arrived and said that he had to talk to him and mom and also Megumi. After telling him that he was leaving the house, they had rations that Issei didn't expect. "Son, you can't leave so suddenly, you'll have to eat whoever washed your clothes," said Mrs. Hyodo, almost crying. "Brother, you can't go, I'll feel alone, who will I talk to when I'm sad? Besides, you already left once, I don't want you to leave again," Megumi said sadly. "And when you leave," Mr. Hyodo said calmly. "Sweetheart's dad," the angry women said. "Mom, I already have everything planned, don't worry, Megumi, that's why the cell phones are there, then I gave you my number, and we can see them at school and dad, now, when the taxi comes," Issei said when just at that moment he hit the bacina. "Wow, what good service," said Issei. When Megumi was going to protest, her father spoke. "Let me help you with your suitcases," said Mr. Hyodo. "Thanks, I guess," Issei said with a bit of regret. When Issei and her father put their discomfort in the taxi, Mr. Hyodo spoke. "Son, may I say something before you go?" said Mr. Hyodo. "I'm listening to you any way you want me to go, so talk," Issei said. "Well, I'll be brief. I always thought that you were the one who would go the furthest in the family," said Mr. Hyodo. Issei lowered his head thinking that he was going to say that he was wrong and that it was his worst mistake. "And I'm still thinking about it," said Mr. Hyodo. Hearing that, Issei raised his head. "It is true that we paid more attention to your sister and we forgot about you, anyone would have given up, but you moved on and now you have your own house. I have never been so proud of you and I expect great things from you, so take care of you, okay," said Mr. Hyodo while she wipes away some tears and hugs Issei. Issei returns the hug and says, "Don't let you down," said Issei as he gets into the taxi to his new house. While at Kou Airport, "Finally we arrived," said a voice. "True, so we can find your boyfriend," said another voice. "This is Yasmin Tsukui." "Shut up, Yasmin, that idiot Issei is not my boyfriend, he is my rival," said the voice while shouting. "This is Stella Fukushiki." "How strange, Stella, I didn't say the name," Yasmin said with a malicious smile. Stella blushed and she wanted to keep quiet. "Well, it doesn't matter, in a week we go to Kou, we have to go to the apartment to get settled," Yasmin said while he adjusted his glasses. "True, and when we go to Kou I will find my rival and they will repay me for the humiliation she gave me," said Stella, raising her fist with anger. "Luckily there is almost no one at the airport, why else would it be very embarrassing if someone saw you doing that ridiculous pose," Yasmin said with sadness and shame. "Well, let's go," Stella said, to pick up her discomfort and leave. "Issei, I hope you're okay, I miss you a lot," Yasmin said to himself while he put his hand on his heart and blushed. Chapter 8. The next day since Issei moved to his new house, he woke up early and started training with a sword. After that, he set the time and went to take a bath, have his breakfast and go to school. While he was going to school he bumped into someone and accidentally saw their underwear. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to," Issei said apologetically. "No problem, it was also my fault for being distracted," the girl said while they were gathering their things. "Let me help you," Issei said harshly. "Thank you," the girl said with a smile. After gathering his things Issei asked him his name. "My name is Asia Argento," Asia said with a smile. "My name is Hyodo," Issei said, Issei smiling. "Mine is Hyodo Megumi, although I am adopted." Megumi said that she had appeared suddenly. "Megumi, when you appeared," Issei said surprised. Only when she introduced herself did Megumi say with a smile. "I see," Issei said, a little nervous because he didn't feel like doing so to Megumi. After Megumi introduced herself Asia said that she was looking for a church if she could help her, and Issei and Megumi said yes. While she was walking Megumi tried to get Issei to join the occult club, but he rejected her every time. Also Issei noticed that Asia had a sacred jade when she healed a child. Maybe she could be her pawn or her bishop, but Megumi also noticed it, so she couldn't offer him to be part of her entourage, not yet. At least. When they arrived at the church Megumi began to feel bad, and Issei knew it was because they were in angel territory, so it was normal, and she felt several very familiar presences. After they arrived Asia offered them to have some tea, but Issei said that Cell was late for school and it would be another day, so they said goodbye to Asia. After arriving at school, he entered the classroom. Issei went to his seat, seeing the empty seats of his classmates. That made Issei feel sad because despite everything, he considered them his friends, even because of him, he called him a pervert. While Issei was at school Megumi nags him about joining Ria's entourage for her empowerment, and when she told him that she is not for the 9th time she is there she threatened him. Kou school entrance. Brother, you know that I love you very much, but I am a Sylviente of Ria's senpai, so if you refuse to join I would be an enemy of me and the Gremory clan, so do you join, or I will have to use other methods to get you to join the clan, said Megumi with a serious fall and a cold look. Sister, I don't know what Ria's Gremory did with you and I don't care either, but I'm going to tell you this and tell your president too, if you want my help I'll help her as much as I can, but I won't be one of her toys, and also because of the attitude she has as a little princess, she's going to get someone killed if she doesn't mature enough. That's all I have to tell you, see you later, sister, Issei said, and then retired to his house. Okay brother I love you, but the president wants you in her entourage so it will be for the president, and then you will soon see mine said Megumi as she heads towards the occult club. After the argument with Megumi Issei took a bath and went through the neighborhood with his new suit looking for a member of her entourage when she suddenly heard a scream. When she got there he saw Asia, Megumi and a guy with a sword. Well devil last word said Freed. Oh go to hell said Megumi as she bled from the wound. Ahaha well see you never demo said Freed before receiving a kick that sent him against a wall. When Megumi saw that Freed was thrown against a wall she saw a guy in front of her and said, "Who are you?" Megumi said. "You already know who I am, but miss none, so let me introduce myself, I'm Soul," said Issei, turning his back on Megumi and Asia. "You're the guy who," Megumi said as she fell silent due to the pain. "Megumi-chan," said Asia as she healed Megumi. "Hey, none, heal that girl while I take care of this," said Issei Soul, while using her sword to deflect the bullets and block a sword from Freed. "You're not doing it wrong, demon-kun hahaha," Freed said with a trademark smile. "And you still haven't seen anything," Issei Soul said while attacking Freed. When Issei attacked, Freed stepped back to shoot with his gun, but he did not leave him attacked with knives that Freed barely dodged, then Issei, realizing that he was distracted, gave a thrust that wounded him in the shoulder, leaving him very injured. "It's over," said Issei Soul to give the last attack. "I don't believe it," Freed said until suddenly the ceiling was destroyed by a spear of light that Issei barely dodged. Just above him there were some fallen angels, but what caught Issei's attention the most were 4 fallen angels in particular. She is middled, she is Kalawana, he is Denasiage. Of the 4 fallen, Rainer seemed to be the leader. When Issei left duty to the fallen he saw that the exorcist had escaped and saw that the fallen were about to attack until a magic circle appeared that distracted them. Issei took advantage of that and used a magic circle to escape. After he escaped he thought that he shouldn't have left his sister there, but he knew that if he fought the Redeed, maybe she would attack him too, so it wouldn't be a good idea to fight the demon and the fallen at the same time. Well, he looked at the clock and saw that it was still 11:30 p.m, so he went to the relatives' forest to look for a relative. When he arrived a small man attended to him. Note: I don't remember the name so I won't name it. After he explained the rules to him, Issei went to look for a relative. There were many good relatives, but in the distance he saw the one he liked. He was a type of dragon and snake with wings. He thought that if he defeated him, he would make him his family. "Hey you dragon snake, come here, I want to talk to you," said Issei Soul. When he said that, the dragon came up and said, "What does human want?" said Quetzalcoatl. "Be my family," Issei Soul said firmly. "Equato," said Quetzalcoatl. "Seriously, it's that easy," said Issei Soul, surprised by how easy it was. "Yes, 100 great power comes from you, and I have been very bored lately," said Quetzalcoatl seriously. "I understand, well then let's make the pact, and that's it, okay," said Issei with a smile. "Well, wait for me to take a more human form," said Quetzalcoatl calmly, to transform into a girl. Issei saw her and was surprised at how beautiful she was. "What's wrong with you? You've never seen a woman in a kimono," Quetzalcoatl said. "Nothing, but I thought your outfit would be different," Issei said, still surprised. "If I understand what is happening, it is that I am another version of Quetzalcoatl. It is like saying it, his relationship in beast form, but different in human version," said Quetzalcoatl. "Wow, I didn't know that, it's like the Japanese version, right," Issei said. "More or less we are descendants of Jormungand and from a Chinese dragon, although we are not as big as Jormungand. By the way, tell me if you want, Quetzal." "Stop it," Quetzal said. After that Issei and Quetzal went to Issei's house where Issei showed him his new room. After that Issei went to sleep thinking that tomorrow will be a difficult day. Chapter 9. The next day Issei and Quetzal went to Kou High School. Well actually Quetzal followed him because she wanted to take a walk. "Why are you following me?" Issei said looking at Quetzal behind. "I am your familiar, but I am also a goddess so I can do whatever I want, so even if you gave me an order, I can obey it or not," said Quetzal with a smile. "Well, whatever you want, but just don't do anything that could harm me, you understand," Issei said a little tired. "Hey, I would never do anything wrong," Quetzal said while she looked sad and about to cry, while she put her hand on her back and crossed her fingers. Kou High School. When Issei and Quetzal arrived, all the boys looked at Quetzal with heartfelt eyes because of how beautiful she was, but they were worried that she came with Issei, until one boy went to ask her. "Hello beautiful, why are you with this loser and not with a gentleman like me?" said boy 1. "I'll tell you easily, but I'd better tell everyone," said Quetzal with a smile. Issei had a bad feeling. Iodo Issei is. My boyfriend, said Quitza, shouting so that everyone in high school would hear her. Everyone in the high school was surprised and shocked, except for some girls who would have different reactions. Megumi, who was in the occult club along with Rias and Akeno, why was she called by Asia's affairs when she heard that a girl was his brother's girlfriend, ran out to see that with an angry face that would scare anyone. Rias was a little angry and confused because that girl was not human and why she said Hyoto Issei was her boyfriend, but she didn't understand why she was angry. Note: Megumi, Rias and Akeno are outside the Circa club at the entrance, that's why they heard what Quitza said. Hey, why do you say that my brother is your boyfriend? Megumi said angrily. Why do you care, and if you are his sister why does she have green hair? Quitza said with a smile. I'm adopted now, answer my question, Megumi said, angrier even more. If you are his sister, it doesn't matter what he does, little sister-in-law, said Quitza with a mischievous smile. Megumi was about to go to bed, but she just rang the bell to start classes. Well, I'm leaving, see you, dear, said Quitza to give Issei a kiss on the cheek. After that Issei went to the classroom with the murmurs of his classmates behind him. Well, this can't get any worse, Issei said to himself. After a while, when the teacher came, he announced that 2 new students will join the class, and since there are 2 free seats, they came a few days before the teacher said for the girls to come in. When the boys saw them they celebrated for having 2 beauty in their class, but when Issei saw them he thought to hell with everything. Hello, I'm Yasmin Tsukui, Yasmin said with a smile. And I am Stella Fugasaki, Stella said with a smile. When the girls looked at everyone in the room, seeing the brunette they were looking for so much, Issei told Yasmin Stella at the same time to go and hug the brunette. When Megumi saw that she yes before she was angry, now she was furious. First a blue-haired girl says her brother's girlfriend, and now a pink-haired girl and a black-haired girl came and hugged him. My brother is mine, bitch, and I'm not going to leave him to any of you, Megumi thought while she was going to kill the 2 girls. But the teacher interrupted her. Ladies, please be correct, said the teacher. After that the class was normal. Well, almost all the boys wanted to kill Issei, and the girls wondered why she had Hyoto Issei, what so many sell women to Kanban. After class ended, Issei ran out of the room being chased by Yasmin and Stella and the majority of the class. After losing his classmates, Issei went to the roof of the school to eat his lunch, but there was Yasmin, Stella and Quetza. What are you 3 doing here? Issei said, surprised. I came because our battle is not over, eternal rival Prepa, said Stella, until Yasmin hits her on the head. First you say hello, right? Second, this dragon told us about the supernatural, and third, why did it take you so long? Yasmin said with a smile while he adjusted his glasses. Issei was surprised and a little angry with his familiar, so he asked calmly. Question, Quetza, are you on my side or against me? Issei said a little angry. Well, I will answer you if you are wondering which side I am on, it is yours, and I also did you a favor, said Quetza calmly. What kind of favor exactly did Issei say? When we did the family deal, pure see your memories do that I did you the favor of first make your girlfriend, they will know that I am a relative, but they didn't know who, so it would be more difficult for them to make their move for now. Second, when I enter look for possible pieces for your entourage, and I found some, and thirdly you are seeing them, that's why I told him supernatural, and if you want I know your pieces, said Quetza. Anyway, you would have told me your plan, Issei said a little calmer. Yes, but it wouldn't be fun, said Quetza. Well, girls, I guess you already know about my past, Issei said a little sadly. Yes, she told us everything, and that explains many things why you were always happy with people, but that doesn't matter, Yasmin said calmly with a smile. If you are still my rival after all, you also have to be grateful that the great Stella joins your entourage, said Stella with a bold look of superiority. I beat her in all the video games and she thinks we are rivals, Issei thought as she scratched her head. Well, if I'm done with this, I'll join in too, said Yasmin. Well, but are you sure? Issei said. Yes, they both said. Girl. Okay, Issei said to put on her suit and do the ritual of the pieces. Chapter 10. After Issei put the pieces, a bishop, Yasmin and a knight to Stella, and explained her past and the events that had recently occurred, they went to the living room. When they arrived at the classroom, an angry Megumi was in front of the 2 girls and asked, what kind of relationship do you have with my brother? Megumi said, annoyingly, without realizing what she said. Relations. The 2 girls said when they thought about that they blushed. The rest of the class thought something similar, and some men bled their noses from imagining Yasmin and Stella with little clothes and animal costumes. Megumi realizing what she said, she quickly corrected. Relationship, I meant not relationships, Megumi said, embarrassed by her mistake. We're just friends, Stella said. Megumi and the rest of the class calmed down until Yasmin spoke. They live together and with rights, Yasmin said with a mischievous smile. Megumi was shocked, then Stella and Yasmin went to their seat. Megumi was going to say something, but just then the teacher came in and returned to his seat. After classes ended, Issei asked Stella and Yasmin why she said that they live together if it is not true. They only responded that Quetza said that now that they are Issei's servant, they should live with them. Issei was partly angry, but Quetzal was right, he couldn't let her sleep in the territory of demons or fallen ones, so she gave him her address and told Quetzal to help them. After Issei left, Stella and Yasmin went to the Chestnut House while they were talking. Yasmin, that girl called Quetzal never said that we were going to move in with Issei, Stella said confused. I missed that, but hey, in war and love everything is fair, but don't worry, I will share it with you, Yasmin said with a smile. When you want something you are very determined, Stella said with a smile, just like her friend. Look who says it, at least I did say my feelings and didn't hide them, Yasmin said. Stella remained silent with a blush. Well, I'm going to save the wet girl, said Issei, to go to an alley because of his costume. Near the church, Issei was jumping through the trees when he saw Rainer's 3 friends or companions fighting with Ria's Gremory and Akeno-senpai. When Ria's launched her attack against the 3 fallen Issei with super speed that managed to remove await saves, 2 of the 3 fallen. After leaving her in a safe place because the shock left them unconscious, she went to the church where there was a fight between Megumi and Rainer. Issei watched her and Rainer's sister fight and she found it interesting. Megumi dodged several spears of light while gathering energy. Rainer laughed at her. Wow, how stupid not to realize that Megumi has gathered the power to give her a decisive blow, plus she is very confident, plus Megumi has the red celestial emperor dragon, one of more powerful length, and has not yet trained her to dominate her or train her body to increase her strength. Resistance demons don't know anything about understanding, that's what Issei thought. After having gathered enough power, Megumi threw a stone at Rainer. She dodged it saying, "Please, do you think that a simple stone would hurt me?" Rainer said until she received a blow that took her out through the pallet. Note: I don't know what it's called, I just named that glass thing that way. That let his guard down, Issei said. Then Rias, Kiba and Kaneko appear, bringing a semi-inconvenient Rainer. At that moment Issei appears. "Hello everyone," said Soul. "Soul, what are you doing here?" Megumi said angrily and with tears in her eyes. Rias and the others were on guard. "Calm down, everyone, I'm coming for the nun," Soul said calmly. "She wants to damn Asia," Megumi said angrily. "Hey little princess, calm down your pawn, I'm not here to fight, I'm just here to look for members for my family," Soul said. Why did she say Ria's search for information? Well, she has a sacred jade, you can serve me unless you want it, otherwise I will take that fallen angel, Soul said. Okay, you can stay with the fallen one, I'll stay with the nun because she is my pawn's friend, Ria said with a smile. Well then, said Soul, with a magic circle he brought Rainer with him. He also took away Asia's sacred jade and returned it to her. Okay, that's it, I leave, we'll see you, Soul said, but he was stopped by Rias. Wait to answer this, why are you here to provoke a war or peace, said Rias with doubts. Who knows, Soul said to disappear. Where did I leave the 2 fallen? Well, we arrived with your friends, said Soul. When Rainer saw where he was, he found Middleton Calendar alive after that. Soul. Listen, from now on, you are my pawn and so are your friends, but if they want, Soul said. Why should I be your pawn, Rainer said angrily. You can go, but I think your boss wouldn't be happy to see you, Soul said. Rainer, after thinking about it a little, was right, so she got it right, then his second partner also got it right. After that Soul showed them her face, 2 of the 3 were surprised, while 1 blushed because of how handsome she was. After she thought formally, she did the ritual to turn the 3 into her pawns. To then leave there, but in a tree there was a subject watching them. Wow, this universe is interesting, said the guy, and then disappeared. Chapter 11. It had already been 2 weeks since Issei had 6 girls in her new house, plus high school was all peace and quiet, or so Issei would like to say. After Rainer, Middleton Calendar went to live with Issei. Stella and Yasmin asked who they were. Rainer responding that they don't care, making her and Stella fight. Luckily it was just insults. Middleton Calendar got along well with Yasmin, not at first, but they seemed to talk. At Kou High School attends second year with Megumi and Issei, who became friends. While Megumi was trying to get Issei to join Ria's entourage, she was also hinted that she can do many things as a demon, including having an entourage and a harem even to her if he wanted, but Issei still refused. After that, Rainer, who also started going to school with the name Yuma Amano, that she was in year 3 with Rias and Akeno-senpai, she noticed that no one followed her by going to an alley and using a magic circle. The same with Middle, who went first with Kaneko. Eleanor became a math teacher in her first year because many students, even the teachers, wanted to flirt with her, but they always rejected her. The bad thing is that the Gremory and the Citri began to suspect that Soul was at Kou High School, so Issei had to be very cautious. For now she still didn't want to be discovered. After school, Issei trained with Rainer, Middleton Calendar, while Quetzal trained Stella and Yasmin. Stella had a sacred jade called, well, let's re-equip it like Urza's, but with a difference. Stella can create her own armor by just damming it, but she has a limit on how many quarters she can create in a day and how much mana she has to use to create it. Yasmin had a sacred jade called the HÉROE bow, a bow that allows the user to summon an almost unlimited bow and dates, but with the weakness that each shot is weaker than the other unless the user has large amounts of mana. Well, that was the week until something happened. Issei felt a strange energy from the occult club, so he called the girls to get ready. In the occult club, I'll say this for the last time, I don't care if it's an arranged marriage or not, I'm not going home with you, Rhea said, annoying. Well, you have no choice whether you like it or not, soon you and your entourage will belong to me, said Razor with a smile, while he had Rhea's chin. Megumi got angry and attacked Razor saying, "Leave Rhea-senpai alone," said Megumi angrily, to go attack Razor. Before arriving, a girl with a Chinese hairstyle hits Megumi in the stomach, sending her flying and colliding with the roof of the club. Megumi-san said Asia going to heal her. That happens to those who are around, but don't worry, if you want, you can be a pet for me, sister, Razor said with mockery. Wow, how sad, aren't you going to say something, Redeed, said Soul, who was sitting on the window frame. What are you doing here? Rhea said, surprised to see him and a little happy too. You who are cursed, said Razor watching Soul. My name is Soul, I am from the clan of legendary heroes, and you, who are a chicken in a suit, said Soul with mockery towards Razor. My name is Razor Phoenix, damn it, and what are you doing here? It's a private meeting, Razor said angrily. First, I don't see a private meeting, I just see a Redeed, a fallen half, a Nico, a nun, a pretty boy, a Sikurute or something like that, and a chicken with an air of grandeur and his entourage, Soul said while smiling under the mask. Razor got upset with Soul's comment, but before he could speak Soul said, and second, I felt a demonic power coming from here, so I called my entourage to investigate, Soul said. So suddenly Stella, Yasmin, Rainer Middleton Kallerner appear. Stella-san, Yasmin-san, you are also from that man's entourage, Asia said, surprised, just like Megumi. Yes, but I don't know, tell Issei okay, Stella said with a smile. Asia just nodded. Wow, you have a beautiful girl in your entourage, I must say, but mine are stronger, said Razor, showing off his entourage. Who is this idiot with demonic power and cheap cologne, Rainer said. Riaz and his entourage confronted Rainer about what Rainer said while Razor was furious. I'm going to, said Razor, but before they could do anything a magic circle appeared on the ground where a maid came out. When Soul saw her, he took a piece of paper and wrote on it, he gave it to the maid and said, I would like you to go to this address to clean my house, you know, I will pay you well, said Soul. The maid read the paper and then tore it up and said, I'm sorry but I'm not a homemaid, sir, said the maid calmly. I understand, girls, let's go, Soul said so that he and the girls could leave. When they got home Soul said, Girl, go to the dining room soon we will have a visitor, said Soul as he went to the kitchen to prepare some tea. While the girls were in the dining room they tried to talk. Why didn't Issei say we would have a visit, Middle said. I don't know that, but it must be important for us to be here, said Kallerner. I guess if I wouldn't be here, said Quitza, who was sitting next to Yasmin. Quitza, where were you? I called you to come with us, but you didn't answer your cell phone, nor did I find you, Stella said worriedly. I was looking for candidates for an entourage, Quitza said calmly. And find someone, Yasmin said, interested in knowing. Yes, he said Quitza. Seriously, how much to find that he would want to join the legendary heroes, Rainer said with little interest. At least 7 members, Quitza said as if it were nothing. Waddy. Everyone at the table said. But how you got so many members is impossible, said Stella. Hey, it's not confirmed yet, 2 told me yes, 2 still have doubts but are thinking about it, 1 told me that she wants to join, but doesn't know how she can help and the other 2, well, it's complicated, Quitza said. Before the girls could ask any more, a crimson magic circle appeared on the floor, leaving the same maid. Just at that moment Issei appeared with 8 cups of tea and a kettle and a couple of cookies. I thought for a moment that she wouldn't come, Grafia, Soul said. I thought you didn't know me, Grafia said calmly. Yes, I'm sorry about that, but let me introduce myself formally. My name is Soul to hide my identity, so I don't have to explain myself, but I think it's time to introduce myself again. I'm Hyodo Issei, and I called you to talk about Ria's Gremory and the chicken in a suit, Issei said. Well, what do you want to know, Grafia said calmly. No, first the tea and cookies, then we talk, Issei said to get an anime-style drop out of the girls. Grafia just smiled and thought, all the leaders are crazy and I think this guy is not exempt, she thought as she sat down to have tea. Chapter 12. After Grafia arrived and after they had tea and cookies, she told him about Ria's engagement and the raiding game. Issei said. I see, and what do you want me to do, Issei said. I would like you to defeat Razor Phoenix in a raiding game to cancel Ria's commitment, Grafia said calmly. I see, then no, Issei said seriously. All the girls present were surprised except Grafia. Hey Issei, I understand that you don't like the Redeed, but no one deserves to be forcibly engaged, plus to an idiot with a dress suit, Stella said angrily. Stella is right, we should help her even if she doesn't know her very well, said Yasmin. Middleton Kallerner only attended. I'm opposed to anyone being forced to marry someone you don't love, so I'll help the crimson bitch, Rainer said. Well, if you're done, I'll tell you why. I won't help the Gremory for 3 reasons, Issei said. The girls and Grafia listened to what Issei had to say. First we won't be able to focus on personal fears, plus it's her business we won't be able to go say raise her penis. I challenge you to a ratings game, said Issei with we take out. Why don't we just go, challenge him, beat him, and that's it, Stella said with a smile. You're not very smart, right, Rainer said with a mocking smile. What did you say, damn it, Stella said angrily. Stella calm down also partly Yuma is right said Issei. What, but why did Stella say angry and confused? I understand what she is saying, but there are still 2 more reasons and Yuma don't insult your partner, we are all from the same family, so respect okay Issei said calmly. Excuse me Issei-sama, what are the other 2 reasons for not making my request, Grafia said calmly. Well, even if we go and give you the challenge, we would not have information about them, and they are more than us in number. And third, even if we had information about them, none of you are ready for a rating game, said Issei. Issei, what do you mean that we are not yet ready for the rating game, Yasmin said curiously. To begin with, you and Stella barely control your sacred Jade, although you can use it in training. You haven't had a real battle yet, which is very different from training. Middleton and Kallerner are strong, but they still don't know how to fight against a large group of enemies, and Rainer isn't even there. Close to the level of a medium fallen, said Issei calmly. Hey, you mean I'm weaker than bubblegum hair, Rainer said, pointing to Stella. Listen to whoever calls Parrot bubblegum hair, said Stella. Parrot ... now you're dead bitch, said Rainer about to attack Stella. Enough is enough sigh Grafia-san when is the rating game of the Little Princess Grimoire, said Issei tired. It would be in approximately 10 days, said Grafia. I see, millimeters, well, if the little princess doesn't win the fight, I will help her, but if she wins, I won't. I agree with that, Issei said calmly. Yes Issei-sama said Grafia. Well and 2 things 1, don't tell your husband about my identity if you can and don't tell me Issei-sama can't tell me Issei just don't have to be so formal said Issei. I understand then I'm leaving, said Grafia to disappear in a magic circle. Well I heard tomorrow Rainer, Quetza and I will go look for members for the entourage while we are away Kallerner you are in charge, said Issei seriously. Excuse me, Issei, and we're sorry, Yasmin said. You 4th will train to improve your magical and attack abilities. I will return in 9 days if possible, said Issei. They all attended. Well now go do what you want tomorrow will be a long day said Issei, so I went out for a walk a little. The next morning, well, it's time to go Quetza, are you ready, Issei said. Of course said Quetza. And you Yuma Issei said. Yes, but I don't understand why I have to go, Rainer said. Why do you have experience in aerial combat, why are you a fallen angel, why if an enemy attacks them flying you could defeat him, and why did I say it now move he said calmly and angry at his pawn's complaints. Issei be careful, Stella said. Aiga is a memory for me, said Middled. Don't have hex without protection, Yasmin said jokingly. Good luck Kallerner said. After that Issei, Rainer and Quetza went to look for the new members. Chapter 13. Before starting I am going to change the way I write because it seems better to you this way. Issei. I see. Rainer. How useless he said with annoyance. So good now to the chapter. Issei, Rainer and Quetzal were heading towards where they would find some of their members until Issei spoke. Issei. Quetzal question, is this member one of the easy ones or one of the complicated ones? He said with doubts. Quetzal. One of the complicated ones. Issei. I was afraid of it he said, sighing and with a smile. Rainer. And why is it difficult for her to join? Quetzal. When we arrive you will know. After flying for about 2 hours you arrived at your destination. It was an island in the middle of the sea where there was a large forest in the middle of the island. Quetzal. We arrived he said with a smile. Issei. Where are we he said with intrigue. Quetzal. We are in the territory of the fairies or the old territory of the fairies he said frankly. Rainer. Wait a minute, this is fairy territory? He said in amazement. Quetzal. That's how good the old territory is, why did they leave here centuries ago? He said with a smile. Issei. I don't understand why you're surprised, he said confused. Rainer. According to rumors the fairy clan was extinguished in the Great War, along with other races and their territories erased from existence, she said altered. Quetzal. You're wrong, it's true that many races of the supernatural died in the Great War, but not all of them became extinct, they just hid or were forgotten, he said calmly. Rainer. I didn't know that. Quetzal. Yes, but that doesn't matter, now we have to look for our partner he said seriously. Rainer and Issei. Partner. After walking for a while they arrived at the center of the forest and what they saw left them very surprised and sad. Quetzal. All the supernatural beings said that humans were inferior that their wars would end up destroying them, if that is the case what awaits us he said sadly as he walked towards the ancient city will destroy. While Issei and Rainer walked, they looked at the desolate place that was there, it was as if time had taken its revenge on the place, but I don't know how they noticed a presence that was looking at it from a distance. After walking for a while they arrived at a place that looked like a park, but there was a kind of tree with a kind of woman. Quetzal. Here our companion is trapped in the tree he said pointing to the tree. Issei. Wait, you mean that she is sealed inside the tree, not trapped, she said, clarifying what Quetzal meant. Quetzal. Not trapped, what happens is that her body was turned into light and she was sealed here so that she sleeps until she wakes up and when I destroy the seal she woke up, he said half sad. Rainer. Wait a minute, there was no seal when we entered, she said a little confused. Quetzal. That was why I destroyed it, he said with a smile. Issei. I have a question, Quetzal, when destroying your seal also destroys other things? I asked intrigued. Quetzal. Millimeters, well I think there were 2 seals that weakened, why? She said confused. Issei. I assumed it was Rainer. Quetzal, get behind me now, she said with a serious tone. Rainer and Quetzal did what Issei said and then I felt a great demonic energy heading towards them. Issei. Earth Elemental Dragon Iron Wall said for a stop to appear that stopped the attack. Wow, not bad, a magic circle would have been destroyed very easily, you thought quickly, right? Not only that my attack was not very strong, sister, so don't give it much credit. Issei. Why don't you go out and introduce yourself properly, she said with a smile. Oh, you smile excellent for a strong boy, maybe I'll make you my slave, what do you say? She said while licking her lips. Issei. You haven't thought about it yet, so what is your and your sister's name? True, I introduce myself, my name is Isago and this is my sister Yoshiki. Isago, Ishiki. Sister, I can think of myself alone, she said while inflating her cheeks. Issei. Well, this is going to be fun, Rainer, you take care of the eldest and Quetzal, you take care of the lowly, while I take care of the bookshelf for her new friend, she said as she went towards the tree. Rainer. Hey, Issei, if I win, you'll call me Rainer, okay, she said, it would be. Issei. What's the point, I also call you Yuma at school, Issei said confused. Rainer. Not only at school, but all the time you called me Rainer because that is my real name, she said with a small blush. Issei. Yes, okay, Rainer-chan, she said to go towards the tree. Rainer blushed because of Chan and smiled because of that. Quetzal. Hey, I don't know, it's worth getting ahead of myself, she said, annoyed. Rainer. And I'm not getting ahead of myself in anything, I just don't like that he changes my name every minute, plus Rainer was the name he met me with, there's nothing wrong with him calling me that now, she said nervously. Isago. Listen, if you're done talking, it's time for you to die, she said, going to attack. Rainer. We'll see about that. Ishiki. Come here, snake, she said to attack Quetzal. Quetzal. Come for me, lowly. The battle in the next chapter. While Issei had reached the tree and saw the trapped person standing there, she began to cast a spell. Issei. Spell that imprisoned this being of light, break your curse and set her free now. Author's note. Yes, I am a bad sorcerer but a good one. After saying that, a light illuminated the place, revealing a woman or fairy who was where the tree should have been. Then one of the night pieces went towards the fairy. My name is Kurumi, thank you for reading me, teacher, she said with a smile. Chapter 14. Rainer was having a difficult battle against Isago because he was dodging her light spear very easily. Rainer. Damn, stay still, she said, annoyed. Isago. What a pathetic fall, you think you can do something with such simple attacks, I say while she laughs. Rainer. Grr, I will finish you right now, she said angrily to attack Isago directly. Isago after that just smiled, and while Rainer tried to throw a couple of spears of light, she kneed him that knocked the air out of him and finished her off with a kick that sent him towards a type of building, destroying it from the impact. Isago. How pathetic you are very weak, surely you thought you had a chance against someone superior to you, hahaha, she said with sarcasm and laughter. As she laughed, a spear of light pierced his right shoulder, causing him to scream in pain. Rainer. You let your guard down, bitch, she said as she emerged from the rubble and launched herself to counterattack. Isago quickly launched a ball of dark energy with his left hand that Rainer dodged with great difficulty. After the attack failed, Isago fought Rainer in the air, launching several attacks between the two, and when Isago had Rainer cornered, Quetzal appeared with her little sister Yoshiki on her shoulders, causing her to be distracted, and Rainer punched her, leaving her okay. Rainer. I win, stupid, she said, very tired and hurt. Quetzal. If you barely won, I'm surprised that you won, she said, it would be. Rainer. What do you know, it took me a lot of work to beat this damn thing, she said tiredly. Quetzal. I beat you because she was distracted and she was weak, plus she trusted herself, otherwise she would have swept the floor with you very easily. Rainer just stayed silent as she clenched her fists in anger. Quetzal. That doesn't matter now, we have to look for Issei and take these two with us, she said seriously while she picked up Isago. Rainer just followed her while she thought about how to get stronger. Later, Rainer and Quetzal had met Issei and the girl who was trapped. She was surprised that she really was a fairy after all, she never saw one of her in her life. Issei explained that her name is Kurumi, that she was the former heiress of the fairy clan, but that it was almost extinct, that she is the only one who stayed on Earth. Why did the others go to another dimension? After that summary explanation, Kurumi introduced herself. Kurumi. Hello, I'm Kurumi, Knight of Hyodo Issei. Nice to meet you, she said with a smile. Rainer. I am Rainer, this idiot's pawn, and she is his family, he said, pointing to Quetzal. Kurumi. Quetzalcoatl, what does a goddess do as a family member? She said, surprised and confused at the same time. Quetzal. It's a long story, I'll tell you another time, but now we have to solve something. Issei, what do we do with these two, he said, pointing to Isago and Yoshiki. Issei. I will make you my pawn, she said with a smile. They all looked at him and said. EHHHH. After Issei woke up, Isago and Yoshiki told him to be her pawns. They were a little upset because they knew she had no other choice. After Issei put the pawn piece on each of her body took on a new shape. Isago new form, Yoshiki new form. When Issei was wondering what had happened, they said that when she has a master, her race can change to the form of her master, but she can also return to her original form. Issei asked them what race they were because they felt like they were demon women, but they also felt like something else. Isago answered that they were half-breeds of demons and succubus, a very special demon to put it in a way. Issei had some doubts, but she didn't have time for that. She still had to find 6 more members, so she decided it was time to leave. Later, after she prepared a small meal and packed some interesting things, they were ready to leave. Issei. Quetzal, how long will it take to find the next member? He said, worried. Quetzal. Well, if we leave now it will take a day and a half, so it is convenient to take a break in this place to take a short break and continue the trip, he said, marking the address on a map. Issei. I understand, okay, are everyone ready? He said seriously. Unison. Yes, they said except one. Issei. Kurumi, are you ready? She said, looking worried at her knight. Kurumi. I'm sorry, master, this place was so beautiful in its time, and although I knew it was destroyed, it hurts me that I couldn't do something to protect it. She said, seriously sad and about to cry. Issei had just hugged her tightly, saying, Issei. You can't blame yourself for what happened, you can only move on with your life and look for a bright future, so don't worry about the past, but rather about what will happen now, okay, and by the way, call me Issei. Yes, he said to let her go and smiled at her. Kurumi just attended and went to the others while she put her hands on her chest, feeling like her heart was going to explode. After that, Issei and the others leaving that island towards their search for the 6 missing members. Chapter 15. After arriving at an almost small island, Kurumi decided to change her form to a more human one. This is Kurumi in human form. After a well-deserved rest, Kurumi wanted to know what the human world was like in more detail. Why Issei had explained to her, but very little. He only showed her something from a book called a fashion magazine. But Issei said that she will show him the city after looking for the other members. Kurumi was happy. After that they went to look for the remaining members. First they went to a boy who was locked up in a psychiatric hospital called Area 51. What an irony, it turned out that the boy was a cyborg and he had him under anesthesia for his crazy story of beings. Supernaturals that killed his family. After Issei and Quetzal took him out of Hay, in addition to recovering his things, Issei asked him some questions such as his name, which was David. The second question was if he was a cyborg, how could he be under anesthesia if he technically had no lungs, and he answered that he was not a robot but a cyborg, that he had a human part that was his brain, and that they also used a kind of magic to paralyze him, and that he was not under anesthesia but paralyzed by magic, but when they arrived he was able to bookstore. Issei remembered that there was a seal on the door, but that he had erased it, thinking that it was Quetzal that had put it, but well, it didn't matter to him. After that he said that he wanted to join Issei to kill a certain demon called Diodora Astaroth because he killed his sister and turned him into what he is now. According to David, he was a normal teenager. He went to high school and lived with his sister who was his only family until Diodora arrived at his door. He offered his sister to be part of his entourage, of course, explaining to her about the supernatural nature of his sister. He refused. After that he left saying that he had no choice. After he disappeared, some people with black wings appeared and attacked his sister and him. The two had fled as far as possible, although their sister was wounded in the arm. After running so much, they reached a cliff where they had no choice, so they jumped towards the sea, where their sister, before jumping, was wounded in the chest and died immediately after falling. His body went into the sea and David tried to escape, but had no luck because he was captured. Diodora was not happy, so she gave David to some supernatural who was based in the human world who did some experiments and modifications to his body, but who had forgotten about him and remained there until Quetzal arrived. After that she asked him to give her a minute that he had to do something important, then with a magic circle his image was transformed into a different one. And this at strongest mode. After he transformed with a strong plasma beam that he launched towards the place where he was locked up, killing everyone there. He then joined Issei as his horse. After that they went with the girls where they almost killed Rainer, but Issei stopped him and they left the place. The other member was an ice dragon slayer who lived in the Circa Mountains of Everest. When they arrived, he was waiting for them with a bag and a katana. His name is Ryutarag. Ryutarag. Ice Dragon Slayer. He just said that he was joining the group and nothing else is too reserved. He became Issei's sixth pawn. The next person who joined Issei was a very beautiful woman, but she was a Valkyrie who resigned from her position for reasons that she did not even tell Quetzal, but who will join Issei. Her name is Akane. Akane. Valkyrie Tower. His battle clothes. She was a very serious woman also with great sword and hand-to-hand combat skills. The last one that Issei could look for was a girl who was an otaku, if you can say that in some way. Her name is Ayumi Suzuki. Ayumi Suzuki. She is a beginner in magic, but an expert in healing magic for wounds, poisons, etc. She is Issei's bishop. After that she went to look for the two remaining members, but the two refused to follow Issei, so he erased their memories. After Issei and her new classmates went home 2 days before Ria's Grimoires fight vs the chicken, he said to himself, Issei. Thinking sister, I hope you are well. Chapter 16. After Soul, Issei and Beatrice will return from their dimensional trip to find out more. See Issei the Supreme God Chapter 6 and Konosuba. Kazuma the Adventurer Kitsune Mask Chapter 0. Soul Issei asked Beatrice to erase his memory of the events happened, but first he got on his knees. Beatrice? What are you doing, idiot? She said while Issei took her hand and put a ring on it. Issei. This is the ring that I created to travel to different dimensions and universe. I want you to get it, he said seriously. Beatrice? Oh, she said a little embarrassed. Issei. What's going on? Beatrice? Nothing that matters to you, let's erase your memory, she said seriously. After that I erase Issei's memories of that adventure, leaving him unconscious, only remembering Beatrice. After that Issei and Beatrice returned to Issei's house to watch the battle of Ria's Grimoire vs Razor Phoenix. When they arrived, Issei introduced Beatrice as a spirit who made a contract with him, something that the girls looked at Issei with contempt, calling him a lollican. Something that bothered this one. Beatrice and Quetzal got along instantly, something curious, one being a spirit and the other a goddess, Issei thought. The fight was good, Megumi did well plus the support of Kiba who covered her, but she had lowered her guard and was hit by the attack of Razor's queen, leaving her badly injured. She tried to get up and was finished off by an attack from Razor, leaving her out of the game. Then Kiba fell and Ria's had no more pieces because her queen fell, her rook fell, her bishop was paralyzed, her knight fell, and her pawn also fell, and she did not have enough strength to defeat Razor and the rest of her pieces. Something sad because he had defeated many pieces, but these had different levels and more experience. 2 days later, Rafia had appeared saying that the wedding would be that night, and Issei nodded and told his team to prepare for a fight. They nodded. In the underworld, there were all the guests, the Citri group and family, the Grimoire family, the Bale family, the Aguirre's family, and another important family. When she was making her vows and Megumi couldn't free herself from the guards, the door exploded and out of dust appeared Soul and his entourage. Everyone was surprised by Soul's appearance because they didn't know who he was, but that didn't catch their attention. But the people who accompanied him who caught the most attention were the fairy woman, the boy with ice hair, and the one with long dark hair. He had some kind of weapon in his arm. Soul Issei. Hey fried chicken, forget my invitation, he said sarcastically. Razor? Damn, what are you doing here? He said angrily. Soul Issei. I come for the busty redeed, he said seriously. Rias? Who do you call a busty redeed? She said, screaming and embarrassed. Soul Issei. To you of course, he said calmly. Rias? Hey, if you came to help, at least tell me my name, she said, annoyed. Soul Issei. Okay, I'll tell you when I save you busty, he said calmly. Some guests began to laugh at the discussion between the masked man and Rias, but Razor Phoenix interrupted. Razor? What makes you think I'll let you take her, he said seriously. An? I don't want to drag this out, so Surziches trades Razor for the fight. Razor attacked with a fire attack that hit Soul directly. Razor? What did you think of that, he said full of confidence. Soul Issei. Wow, so those are Phoenix flames, not bad, but they're not that bad, he said to escape unscathed. Razor? Impossible, he said seeing that he didn't do anything to him. Soul Issei. You know something, I'm tired of wearing a mask, I'll show my true identity, he said to take off the mask. Everyone was surprised, but the most surprised were the Grimoire and Citri group, plus Rias and Megumi, because Soul was Issei. Issei. Well, now launch your best fire attack at me, and I'll launch mine, she said with a smile. Razor was furious because he was making fun of him, so he activated a magic circle where he concentrated all of his magic power, launching a fire attack that looked like a phoenix, while Issei with only one arm concentrated magic and said, Issei. Hellfire Elemental Dragon Fist Technique said he to launch a fire attack in the form of a fist. The attacks collided and a heat was felt that melted the clothes of those present, especially women, something that some men were celebrating. In the end Issei's attack won, hitting Razor, but not defeating him, until Issei hit him in the stomach, leaving him without air. Issei. Don't feel bad, in addition to being a legendary hero, I'm also a dragon slayer, so you never had a chance, he said, looking at Razor. Razor? You don't understand what you've done, he said while trying to catch his breath. Issei. Yes, and I don't care, he said calmly. At that moment Ravel appears. Ravel. Hey, don't hit my brother anymore, he said seriously. Issei. Don't worry, I won't hit him anymore, but I'll just say this, no matter who it is, I'll defeat everyone who lies with the people I love, he said while looking at Ravel. Ravel when he said that looked at his eyes full of determination and blushed. Issei. Well before I go, one last thing, he said to stand in the center of the field and form several magic circles so that a light blinded everyone minutes later. After that Issei and Riaz had disappeared, but suddenly snow was falling from the sky, something that surprised everyone present, even Issei's group who did not know that he could do that while they were eating the banquet. Well with Riaz and Issei. Riaz. It's beautiful he said, seeing the snow. Issei. Have you never seen snow? He said curious. Riaz. Not this way he said happily while he hugged Issei on the faucet that carried them and it was snowing. Issei had blushed from Riaz's hug, but before saying anything he spoke again. Riaz. Is what you said true? Issei. What? Riaz. That you should protect all the people you love, he said, looking seriously. Issei. I didn't say it like that, but I guess I will also protect all the people I love, he said with determination. Riaz. That includes me, he said with a smile. Issei pooh well yes, but he said nervously. Riaz saw that and smiled and kissed him on the lips, leaving him in shock. Issei. Why was that? He said confused. Riaz. Easy, my heart has made up its mind, you are the man I love, she said blushing. Issei. Wait, we just don't know, are you sure about this? He said still in shock. Riaz. I have always been interested in you, and not only because of your power, also don't worry I won't give up so easily, he said with a smile. Issei. Shit, this is going to be complicated, she thought as they walked away towards the horizon. Epilogue. In an unknown place, there was the seal of the beast of the apocalypse, the beast that brought destruction to the world, the beast called Trihiksa, and outside the seal was a demon called Zelos about to enter, but someone stops him, and he looks at her with a smile. Zelos. Oh, it seems that my lady is angry, he said politely. Don't be too clever, she said coldly. Zelos. My Miss Andromeda would never do it, he said calmly, looking at the girl in front of him. Andromeda, younger sister of the biblical god. After that he entered into the seal of Trihiksa with. That made the Trihiksa feel horrible pain as he grew smaller and Zelos said. Them. What is madam doing? Andromeda. Finish the job of my idiot brother, he said without emotion. Then he sealed that he was under Trihiksa shining with a blinding light, countering Trihiksa with a new, more human form. Trihiksa. Andromeda. Now you are my servant and you will obey all my orders, understood, he said with a cold look. The Trihiksa looked at her and felt real terror with her gaze, so he got down on his knees and said, Trihiksa. As you order, my mistress, he said, still on his knees. After that, they destroyed the seal that enclosed the Trihiksa and left not before Zelos told him something that interested him. Andromeda. Interesting, and where is that legendary hero? With a little emotion. Zelos. It is located in Kou, Japan, my madam, he said to bow. Andromeda. Well, we will go to Kou to meet this Hyodo Issei and see how strong he is, he said to disappear with his two servants. While at Issei's residence, Issei was reading a book with Beatriz until he felt something strange. Beatriz. What's wrong with you, idiot? She said looking at Issei confused. Issei. Someone or something very dangerous is approaching, he said seriously. Beatriz. And what would it be? She said confused. Issei stood up from where he was sitting to look out the window at the moon and say. Issei. I don't know, he said worried. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.